Abrams' charge is both his greatest strength and greatest weakness in lane. As opposed to most abilities in Deadlock, Charge has an insanely long 37-second cooldown, meaning when Abrams doesn't have it, you can be aggressive. Try to bait out his charge and position yourself in ways that make it difficult for him to reach you, such as on the bridge. If Bebop cannot hook you, he cannot win the lane. One thing you can do to reduce your chances of being hooked is to stand behind your troopers. Hook does not go through troopers, and so if he tries to hook you, it won't reach you. Alternatively, if you don't feel confident in your ability to dodge his hook, consider buying Reactive Barrier. Billy is a bit similar to Abrams, as he likes to try to get in your face for an all-in combo. Rebuttal is an incredible item against Billy, as most Billys try to spam light melees in between their abilities and don't expect a low parry cooldown from Rebuttal. Spacing is your best ally against Calico. If she doesn't manage to hit you with Leaping Slash, her entire kit in lane is very underwhelming. Try to always keep a good amount of distance between you and her, especially when playing a hero with a decent long-range weapon. Avoid close-range areas like the Veil against her. Sometimes, instead of running away from her, it can be best to stay very close so she can't use Leaping Slash. Against Doorman, his doorbells are the main issue in lane. However, it is very hard to judge distance with them. I would recommend either playing very close or very far from him, as it will make it a lot harder for him to hit them. Additionally, if you stand right in front of the doorbell, or if the doorbell has been thrown behind a trooper, he might not be able to hit it. Avoid getting very close to Drifter, as the bonus damage from Rend will hurt you a lot. Instead, what you want to do is stay just outside of his gun's effective range. He's the only hero in the game other than Bebop that has a limited range to his gun instead of fall off. If your hero has to get close, then consider buying close quarters to reduce the amount of melee damage he deals to you for cheap. Dynamo loves short trades with his first ability. If you get hit by the shockwave, consider taking cover for a few seconds so he doesn't benefit from the fire rate slow and increased bullet damage he gains. Outside of that, Dynamo is generally very weak and has a massive hitbox, so you should abuse that by constantly poking him. Against Grey Talon, playing in cover or in the Veil is going to be your best friend. This will allow you to dodge his arrows and also minimize the amount of poke that you take from him when he's in the air. Grey Talon is squishy, so if he walks up in lane, you can dive past the wave to kill him if your hero allows for that playstyle. Haze is a hero that deals the majority of her damage through fixation. Avoid taking prolonged trades with her when you have a lot of fixation stacks on you. Instead, go for short trades and wait the fixation stacks out when you see them stacking up. Holliday wants to use her barrels and headshot you. While her barrels are quite difficult to do anything against, you can do your best to make your movement unpredictable and crouch to make it hard for her to hit her headshot. She also wants to burst you down when she unlocks her ultimate, so consider buying one of the defensive barriers such as Reactive Barrier, Spirit Shielding, or Bullet Shielding to try to survive her lasso. Against Infernus, try to avoid standing out in the open, and don't make it easy for him to set you on fire with his Afterbird. When he uses Flame Dash, abuse height and wall jumps stalling in order to avoid as much of the damage as possible. Note, wall jump stalling has been nerfed recently, but it is still possible if you have enough stamina. Ivy is generally a weak laner that can be hard to kill due to her third ability, Stone Form. However, it has a very long cooldown at 42 seconds. Force her to use Stone Form, then be aggressive for the next 40 seconds. Also, abuse the fact that her head has a large hitbox, so she's much easier to hit headshots on. Kelvin's hitbox is quite big, so he's easily susceptible to taking poke from weapons. Items such as Restorative Shot, Mystic Shot, or Headshot Booster allow for easy poke. Additionally, you want to make sure that you're always one dash away from cover so he can't use his Arctic Beam on you for prolonged lengths of time, because it has a build-up mechanic, meaning it's more effective after a second or two. Avoid trading into Lady Geist while she uses Life Drain on you. Instead, try to hide behind cover immediately, which basically makes her ability useless. A bonus tip is that you can dodge her bomb best by looking at her throw the bomb rather than looking at where the bomb lands, so you have a little bit more time to react. Another one is Malice works similarly to abilities like Fixation or other amps, and so when you have Malice stacks on you, you should try to hide and make sure you don't take another one, as it refreshes the duration of the previous ones. Lash is the best hero in the game and the strongest laner, and there's really nothing you can do against him. In fact, if you're in my game, I highly encourage you to disconnect against the Lash because he is the perfect hero. But if you somehow believe that you can beat him, your best bet is going to be to position yourself in a way so you can't get hit by ground strike. The best way to do that is to stand on the opposite side of the high ground and be in a position where you can maintain clear vision of Lash so you don't get hit by ground strike. McGinnis' biggest threat in lane is her wall. Make sure you don't overextend significantly past the wave without an escape route planned if she walls you. If she does wall you, make sure that you know how you're going to be able to retreat. Mina bursts you down very easily when you're below half HP. As such, make sure to always buy defensive healing items to keep yourself above that threshold to avoid getting killed instantly by her. Such items include extra regen, restorative shot, or healing right. Items with flat damage such as Cold Front, Mystic Shot, Backstabber, or Headshot Booster are also great at dealing with her because she has very low base HP, so items that deal flat damage are going to be very effective. Mirage is often considered a lane dominator, but he's actually quite weak early. His gun DPS is one of the worst in the game, and he's very dependent on his scarabs and Jin's mark to do damage. Try to be aggressive when his scarabs are on cooldown and before he hits 2.6k souls, which is when he becomes quite strong. Bo and Krill relies on hitting multiple targets with Scorn for sustain, so make sure you don't stand in the middle of your troopers. Instead, you want to poke him from off angles to force him to choose between you or your troopers. Against Paige, focus on denies as her bullet velocity is the worst in the game and she struggles to secure souls, despite the recent buff. When she uses barrier on either herself or her ally, shoot the other hero or run away, or both. You're not going to win that trade. When Paradox charges her carbine, don't hide behind obvious cover, that's what she wants you to do. She's just going to use her bomb to get you out of it and then shoot you. Instead, use veils or don't let her know your position so that she can't carbine you in the first place. Pocket starts with minus 15% spirit resistance. Focus any source of spirit damage you have on him during the laning phase. Items like Mystic Shot, Cold Front, and Backstabber are quite effective against him. 7 has a giant head. Make use of it. Aim for headshots, buy items like Headshot Booster. Do note that his hat gives him 25% reduction against headshots, but it is still a lot of damage. You should also make sure not to stand right beside your trooper when his power surge is active. Shiv's knives refresh the previous knife's duration when chained. This is one of Shiv's main ways to poke you during the lane. When hit by a knife, hide for a bit until the knife damage has fully stopped to avoid giving him multiple stacks. Sinclair's bolt can do hundreds of damage to you in record time, but it has one major weakness. You can use your stamina to dodge it at the last second. Wait until you see or hear Sinclair redirect the bolt, then use your stamina to dodge it. Victor in lane does not do much unless you focus him. Try to instead focus your damage on his laning partner. Victor wants you to shoot him so that he can charge his pain battery. Against Vindicta, you have to be most careful of the stake flight combo. When your wave starts dying, make sure you're not caught out in the open. Play around corners to make it difficult for her to deal lots of damage to you with her flight. When her flight and stake are on cooldown, play aggressively. You can also abuse veils to hide from her. Against Viscous, if you get good at parrying Puddle Punch, Rebuttal completely shuts down that ability in lane. Not only does it reflect the damage on the Viscous, but it also heals you. Similarly to Mina, being half health against Vyper is very problematic. Take trades with her at range because her weapon fall off is really bad, as well as her spread, and buy regen items to make sure you don't fall below half HP. If you're half health, play very defensive, as lethal venom will just kill you instantly. Against Warden, make sure you're always keeping 2 stamina in lane. An easy way to achieve this is to buy extra stamina. This is really important if you're playing a hero that only starts with 2 stamina like Bebop. If you keep 2 stamina, you'll usually be able to get out of his cage without issue. Try not to stand out in the open too much against Wraith as she wants to charge her cards on you. She charges her cards much faster on heroes compared to troopers, and they do a surprising amount of damage when she gets 2.6k souls, as well as an item like Quicksilver Reload. Against Yamato, avoid taking close range trades against her as she will always win with Crimson Slash. Instead, poke her at range and also use your abilities when she is charging Power Slash. She is very easy to hit during that time. This video was not meant to be a comprehensive laning guide against every hero, but rather a tip that may or may not be obvious against each hero. Hopefully you guys got something out of it. This is meant to help both new players as well as slightly more experienced player. Thank you guys for the support as always. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a wonderful day.